Okay, we're gonna start the chitas in one moment. Bam 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 yam bam 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 yam bam 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 bam. Yum bum 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 ba ya did it I yum better I did it I dum yum better dum. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. What a beautiful morning it is. And we're gonna start with Chita for the day. Today is Thursday as we start the fifth part of the Chumash of the portion of Vayigash, chapter 46, verse number 8. These are the names of the children of Israel who are coming to Mitzrayim. Yaakov Ubanav, Jacob and his son, Bechor Yaakov, the Bechor, the first son of Jacob, is Ruvain. So Rashi says, Haboim, relative to that time when they were migrating to Egypt. The text calls them coming in the present tense. And there's therefore no reason to wonder why it's not written who came, because they're actually coming. They're on their way down. Verse 9. Bnei Shimon, the sons of Shimon, Yemuel, V'Yamin, V'Ohad, V'Yochim, V'Tzochar, V'Shol ben Haknanis, and Shoel, the son of the Canaanite. So Rashi says, who is Shoel, the son of the Canaanite? Ben Dina. This is the son of Dina. Shenivla Leknani. This is the son of Dina who got pregnant from the story with in Shechem, who'd been possessed by the Canaanite. When they killed Shechem, Dina did not want to leave until Shimon swore that he would marry her. And Shimon married her, and Shaul was the child that she had from Shechem. Verse 11. Bnei Levi, the children of Levi, Gershon, Kos, and Merari. Bnei Yehuda, the children of Yehuda, was Er, Oinon, V'Shelo, Feretz, V'Zerach. Vayamas Er Oinon died. Be'eretz Canaan, the land of Canaan, the story of Yehuda and Tamar. Vayi b'nei Feretz, and the children of Feretz was Chetzain v'Chamol. B'nei Yisachar, the children of Yisachar was Tola, Ufuve, V'Yov, V'Shimnei. B'nei Zvula, the children of Zvula was Seret, V'Elon, V'Yachliel. El b'nei Leah, verse 15. These are the children of Leah, Ashiyod, Yaakov, and Paddan Aram. These are the children of Leah, the sons of Leah, who Yaakov had in Paddan Aram. There's Dina Bitai, and Dina his daughter. Kol Nefesh, Banu, B'neisav, all the children of Leah was altogether 33. So Rashi says, the males are attributed to Leah, and the females to Yaakov, to teach us that if a woman emits seed first, she gives birth to a male. But if a male emits seed first, the woman gives birth to a female. So says the Gemara. 33. So the Rashi says, but if you count them individual, you only find 32. The missing one, who is the missing one, is Yecheved. Yecheved, the daughter of Levi, who was born between the walls when they entered the city. So that is the 33rd one. As it's written, who she bore to Levi in Egypt. Her birth was in Egypt, but the conception was not in Egypt. So there you got the 33, because we're missing one, and that's Yecheved, who was born as they came into the land of Mitzrayim. Verse 16. B'nei God, these are the children of God. Sifyoin, V'chagi, Shuni, V'etzboin, Ari, V'eridi, V'ari Eli. B'nei Asher, the children of Asher. Yimna, V'yishva, V'yishvi, Uvira. Serach Achoisam, and Serach, their sister. Bnei Bira, Chever uMalkiel. Serach was the one who told Yaakov, sang to Yaakov that Yosef was alive, and Yaakov blessed her that she would live forever. Verse 18. Eila b'nei Zilpah. Ashinasan Lavan Leah. These are the children of Zilpah that Lavan gave to Leah. Batel El Yaakov Sheish Esenef. They had 16 souls coming to Egypt. Verse 19. Bnei Rachel, the children of Rachel. Eshes Yaakov, the wife of Yaakov. Yosef uBinyamin. So Rashi is again. You see over here that none of them says the wife of Yaakov, only Rachel, because she was the mainstay of his household. Rachel was his wife. Verse 20. Yosef, and Yosef gave birth to Mitzrayim, Meshodle, Osnas Bas Beitifa HaKohen. His wife, whose name was Osnas, the daughter of Beitifa HaKohen, Es Menashe Ves Ephraim. He had Menashe and Ephraim. Uvenei Binyamin, and then Binyamin, the second son, had Bela, Uvecher, Ve'ashbel, Ve'geda, Ve'naman, Achi, Ve'roish, Mupim, Ve'chupim, Ve'ered. He had 10 children, 10 sons. Binyamin. Verse 32. Eila b'nei Rachel. These are the children of Rachel. Sheol Yaakov, that were given birth to Yaakov. Kol nefesh, all the souls of Yosef and Binyamin was Arba Asa, was 14. Ubnei Dan, the children of Dan, was Chushim. Ubnei Naphtali was Yachziel, Vegani, V'yetze, V'shina. Verse 25, El Bnei Leah, these are the children of Leah. I'm sorry, the children of Bilhah. Asher Nasa Lavan LeRachel Bitei, which she gave to Rachel. Bateles El Yaakov Kol Nefesh, all her children. Shiva was 7. Verse 26. Kol Nefesh Abal Yaakov Mitzrayim Yetzi Yidechei. All the souls together, you count them all together. Kol Nefesh Yaakov Shishim V'Sheish was 66. So Rashi says, all the souls coming with Jacob, who left the land of Canaan to come to Egypt. And the words Abba is in the past tense, but is not in the past tense. Abba means they're coming, the present tense. Similar to the evening she would come, and like, behold, the daughters of Rachel are coming with the sheep. Therefore, the sentence is below the Aleph. So Rashi continues, and they were only 66, excluding Yosef and his 2 sons. In the instance of Abba, souls that Yaakov are coming to Egypt is 70, the past tense. Therefore, the sentence above. Okay, this is grammar. Let's continue. Joseph had 2. Kol Nefesh Abba Mitzrayim, altogether. All the count Yosef and his 2 sons is total of 70 souls that came down to Mitzrayim. 70 souls of the Jewish nation came down to Mitzrayim. And that completes the Chumash of the day, and we're going to start the Tanya of the day. And today we start chapter 9 of Tanya. The abode that we mentioned where the godly soul resides. Now the Alter Rebbe says, where does the animalistic soul reside? So the animalistic soul resides. Animalistic soul that is derived from the clipper, from the covering that shines, the covering that has the capability of elevation in every Jew is in his heart. B'cholol hasmali, in the left vertical, shumoli dam, which is filled with blood, as it says, ki adam hu nefesh, the blood is the soul of man. So says the verse. So it means that the blood is where it resides. It resides within the soul, the life force of man. So the animalistic soul is symbolic to the blood that gives a person his life force. Therefore, emotions, all emotions, resides in the heart. Anybody, do you hear now? Do we hear?
Yeah, now, but I missed the last 5 minutes or
Oops,
whatever
I'm
it was.
sorry. I don't know what happened. I'm sorry. Somebody
Yeah,
should
I
have.
don't know.
Somebody should have given me. So did you hear the Tanya at all?
Maybe the first sentence.
Okay, we'll start again.
Oh,
The Maki
I'm
Mishkim
sorry.
HaNefesh Baham is abode of the animal soul. Oh, I'm sorry. Somebody should have told me. Okay. I'm sorry. So you hear now on Facebook? Okay, we'll
Yeah.
start again. Maki Mishkim Nefesh Baham is the abode of the animal soul. Is the ride that derived from Klippas Noga that comes from the covering that shines in every Jew who believe is in the heart. We're in the heart of Cholas Mali, so it's in the left ventricle. Shumali Dam, which is full of blood. Uksiv Ki Adam Hu Nefesh, as it's written, the blood is the soul of man. That means the blood within man is his soul. So, like the blood that goes and gives life to the entire body is like the animalistic soul, gives him life. And therefore, since it's in the heart, call hatayvis v'tiferes v'kas, all emotions, like boasting, anger, and similar passion, are in the heart. And from the heart, just like the blood travels from the heart to the whole body, so too the emotions travel from the heart to the entire body. And where is the worst place that these emotions go to? Ultimately goes to his head. And now you become your emotions take over your head. Now we take emotions and you start to figure out how to become more cunning in your emotions. And that's when your emotions take over your head. Because really, the emotion mind should roll over matter, and you should be able to always be cool-headed. But what the problem is, thus, like the blood travels through the entire body, also to the head, so too your nefesh abahamis, an animalistic soul, which is ultimately the source of my evil tendencies, my desires, my emotional mishigasim, craziness, anger and jealousy, and hate. Ultimately, I start rationalizing it. And it goes to the mind, and now it controls my mind. Just like the blood has its source in the heart. And from the heart, it circulates to the entire body. It also goes to the brain. So too, ultimately, if I can't control my emotions, My emotions will travel to the head, and I will start thinking about how to make my emotions even more worse than they were before. And that's when you become emotions over your head. Mission naturally is abode of the divine soul. Is in the brains of the head. And from there, and from there it spreads out to all the limbs of the body. So that's why the divine soul is essentially intellectual, and therefore its abode is in the brain. But ultimately it comes into the rest of the body. It ultimately travels to the heart, to the right side, which has no blood. Kosov, as the verse says, Leiv chacham liyaminoi, a heart of a wise man is to his right. So it's less blood. It's less of blood and more intellectual. Less emotional, more intellectual. That means the Chassidus wanted to have the unity of the emotions and the intellect, but it should be more the concept of intellectual and less the concept of emotional. So we see these two concepts, and this is the struggle. This starts the struggle, which Tanya explains, the struggle between the heart and the mind. This is what we need to. So we need to awaken up the love of God, and that is through intellectual. This is the man's fierce love for God. Who flares in the hearts of discerned men who utilize their wisdom to understand godliness. So we need to have an intellectual relationship with God. And that intellectual relationship with God awakens up the love which is on the right side. So the truth is, the love that's in the left side, which is the animalistic law, we don't need to have that much intellect. We have that's natural almost. I mean, you have to have intellect for everything. If you're brain dead, you can't do nothing. Can't have taivas either. But it's less intellectual. I don't need to put so much intellect to have taivas. You see, from a child to adult, we all have small toys and ultimately big toys. But to awaken up a fire of God, the love of God, that's where you need your intellect. And that's where, without your intellect, a person doesn't have a natural love of the Eibishter. Taivas is desires, ta'avot, desires. So I have to have I have ta'avot, desires, natural desires to the physical world. And but I need to create a desire to God. I need to wake up a ta'ava or a ahava and ta'ava. So those who understand and reflect with the knowledge in their brains, so they have all things without that mentioned over here. He mentioned over here chachma, bina, das. That ultimately I have to have the knowledge, the wisdom, and the understanding and the knowledge. Bidvarim hama'oidim esava, in matters that arouse this love. So therefore, the Gemara, for example, says I should learn Torah, which something that inspires me. I shouldn't pick things that are going to be very dry and very uninspiring to me, even though I need to learn those also. But to begin with, I should pick things that I enjoy and pick subjects in Torah. I can find so many different subjects in Torah. Whether you like law, or you like spirituality, or you like simple things, you like deep things, everything can be found in the Torah. And find something in the Torah that you will intellectually stimulate you, which will ultimately emotionally stimulate you. And that's what's important. And everybody is different. So therefore, every person needs to find within the Torah something that will awaken within him a love of the Eibishter, a love to the subject. And therefore, the same simchas lev, and that will bring him gladness of his heart. B'tiferes Hashem v'hadar goynai, in apprehending the beauty of God and the majesty of His glory. And we need to do that. So we try to pick things that we don't understand and we don't comprehend, and we say, oh, but it's dry. Why we're not getting a feeling to it? Find a subject that you could get a feeling to first. Inspire yourself. You'll see that ultimately you'll graduate, you'll continue to grow upon you. So because a wise man, the eyes of a wise man is in his head, meaning in the brain, harboring his wisdom and understanding. So if you're a wise man, you see your eyes is in your brain, meaning that you can see where the subject is going to take you, where the subject is going to bring you. So why do you pick a subject that's going to bring you to the opposite of joy and happiness and gladness? Pick a subject first that is going to inspire you, a subject in godliness that will inspire you, that will bring out the Ava. Don't just learn a subject that's not going to awaken the love and desire to the godly topic. That with his eyes and touches that gaze intensely on the glory of the King, the beauty of the infallible, infinite, and boundless greatness. Then, if a person will look into the Torah, and especially into a subject which his heart will enjoy, and will inspire and bring him joy, as explained elsewhere. So, as he says in the interpretation of it, gazing with the mind's eye means that one not only understands the greatness of God, but also perceives it, and through seeing it with his very eyes, such a perception arouses a great joy in one's heart. And this joy, like the love spoken of earlier, is a direct result of manifestation of the intellect of the divine soul residing in his brain. So just like your animalistic soul has delight, my godly soul has delight. So just like I give my animalistic soul delight, I need to give my godly soul delight. I need to have simcha shel mitzvah, the joy of a mitzvah, the joy of learning. How am I going to have the joy of learning if I'm not enjoying the learning? That's why you need to be a chacham. Chacham ain't a beiraishai. Chacham, a wise man, his eyes is in. He knows, he sees what the learning, which learning, and what the subject is going to bring him. And so to all the attributes in your heart, they all ultimately come from the wisdom, understanding in my brain. So therefore, sure, I might not like something because I don't understand it. If I understood it better, if I would learn it, I would comprehend it, I would enjoy it more. So I expect a person to say that he doesn't enjoy a mitzvah. He doesn't know the mitzvah. How can he enjoy something that he doesn't know? And ultimately, you can't force upon a person to keep on doing something that he doesn't enjoy. It's going to backfire. You need to learn. That's why God gave us a brain, so that we would learn, and we would, and by learning, by opening up our minds, and by understanding, and by comprehending, and by ultimately acquiring it, that's going to create a desire and ultimately a joy in our service of God. And that's why, that ends the Tanya of the day, but that's why it's important, the concept of Chabad, to be able to each and every one of us, to learn the Torah in the best of our capability, so that we will not only have a delight and enjoy in Olam Hazeh, in the worldly matters, but actually would have a delight and joy in Yiddishkeit, in godly matters. So we don't understand Taivas either that much. We just have a delight. We know that we have a geschmack in something. We have a excitement to physical things. It's natural thing. I don't have too much seichel, too much intellect for physicality. It's easy. Spirituality, I need to have a little bit more. I need put a little bit more effort in the physical, in the spiritual side of things. That's why, because my godly soul is in my brains. My animalistic soul is in my heart. Doesn't need my brains that much. Needs ultimately my brains, but not that much. My godly soul is in my brains. And it has to go from my brains to my heart. So therefore, it needs a little bit more of picking this right subject, of learning it correctly, understanding it correctly. And that will awaken up my delight and my desire and my joy in the subject that I'm learning. That ends the Tanya of the day. We are Tillim of the day. Today is the 9th day of the month. Chapter 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54. So 49 to 54 is the Tillim of the day, Psalms of the day. Tomorrow, correct, is Asara B'Teves, is the 10th day of Teves. It's a fast day, and it's only from morning to evening fast day. So should all have a meaningful fast, and it's the first fast day in the series of Asara B'Teves. Is the first fast day, then go Shiva Asa B'Tammuz, the 7th day of Tammuz, and then Tisha B'Av. So these 3 fast days are interconnected. This fast day is the day that Samach Melech Bavel Yerushalayim, the king of Babylon, surrounded Jerusalem, and it's the beginning of the destruction of the temple, which happened 3 years later, after they broke into on the 17th day of Tammuz into the city, and ultimately on the 9th of Tisha B'Av destroyed the Beis Hamikdash. So we all wish you a wonderful day today. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Tonight from sunset till midnight, we don't learn Torah. It's called Nittel Nacht. We don't learn Torah to give any kind of spiritual connection to what the world is whatever they are celebrating, etc. So we don't learn Torah tonight from sunset till midnight, so like 1 o'clock in the morning. So if you have a desire to learn today, learn until sunset, and then from sunset till midnight, you should not learn. And we'll see you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Have a wonderful, beautiful, happy day.
You too, Rabbi. Thank you very much.